Hi everybody, welcome to A World of Colour with Prism, the brand new range from Hunkydory Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how you can use your Prism ink pads coupled up with your clear embossing powder and inks to create a resist technique. So first of all we have our white cardstock. So you just need to remember that we're going to put clear ink embossing powder onto here with a clear ink. If you are going to use, if you want any other colour to show through, you need to use that coloured cardstock basically, or that coloured ink. So what we want is the white to show through over our inks. So let's ink our stamp first of all. So we are using the brand new Prism embossing ink. So this is a clear ink pad, so you can see when I've inked that up there's nothing there to really see. It's very, very juicy. It's a clear ink that is slow drying, so that it means that we can add our embossing powder to it. And then you can see when you look at this, there's absolutely like nothing there unless you look really, really closely. So if you're maybe, you know, if you've got any sort of issues seeing things close up, you know, seeing this, what you might want to do is just get some of your powder on there as you're stamping so you can see exactly where you're up to. So I'm just going to use a clear embossing powder. So once I sprinkle that onto there, you'll be able to see it sticks to where we've stamped. Okay, so then I'm just going to go and do the rest and then we can heat it all in one go. So just grabbing some more of that ink and I'm just going in and around with the little bumblebees here, just creating that bit of a background here, and then we'll just twist around, remembering to stamp off your card to give it that random sort of more natural look. Because if you were buying background papers you wouldn't expect, you know, them all to just finish right before the edge of the card. They do sort of go off the card. And then again I'm just going to add some more of our embossing powder onto there, just sprinkling that around and tapping off what we don't need. Okay, so if you get any areas where you've got powder where you don't want it, you can go in with a really fine brush and just dust off any of those bits and pieces. I'll just pop that powder back in there and then we're going to heat emboss this now. So because we've used clear ink with a clear powder, obviously the colour that's going to show through is our white cardstock underneath. So if you were to do this on a red cardstock, for example, and then maybe ink over with black, the red would show through the ink. So with our heat tool, we're just going to heat this up now until the powder melts. So you'll see it change from a sort of grainy look to a more glossy finish once the powder's melted. So just moving it around just until that powder changes to that glossy finish. So you don't need to stay on any of the stamped images for too long, just literally as soon as it's changed, just move it over to your next one so you can get all of this heated up. So it is a direct heat source and it is very, very hot, so you don't want to spend too long hovering around on one particular area and burning your cardstock. So I think we've got everything covered there. So once that's all done, what we can then do, just dust off any bits that are still on there. We can take our ink now, so I'm going to use the canary yellow just because we've got the bees. It just sort of works. And I'm just going to ink over the whole design. Okay, so don't worry if the ink sort of sits on top of your embossed image a little bit, because we can sort of rub that off afterwards. So just adding that ink onto there, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of scrap card just to cover it where we've already inked, put my hands on to hold it in place. And then I think we're just I'm going to grab a little bit of the orange zest as well, just to add a bit of depth to that. So just starting just on the edges. You will find that your ink pads are very juicy and your sponges will pick up quite a lot of the colour in one go. So you might find like when you first start to apply that colour, it's quite heavy, quite a deep colour, and as the ink starts to go down onto your cardstock, it does become a little bit fainter. But you see how long this ink is lasting that we've popped on this little sponge. So we've nearly gone around the whole card without having to reapply. So it really does go a long way when you're just doing little bits and pieces like this. So once you've got those sort of edges inked up, we can just give this a little bit of a buff. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of our kitchen roll. I'm just going to buff this up, because what this will do is just polish up those little embossed areas, because what happens is, because the ink's water based, obviously the embossing powder resists the ink, but it does sit on the surface just a little bit. It's a little bit like sort of when you use wax crayons and sort of watercolour on the top, but you can see that you get that really cool resist effect with the white sort of showing through. And then another way you can use the inks to resist is if you've got something that's foiled. So if you've got any of our foil cardstock, you can do the exact same effect with your inks. So you can apply your prism inks onto here. Let's just get a bit more colour on there, really build that orange zest up. So all the way over here, and again that foil, because it's almost like a glossy finish, I suppose, it resists that ink again. And again, if you just give that a little bit of a buff, you will see you get that fabulous resist on the foil as well. So that's just another fabulous way you can use your prism ink pads. I hope you've enjoyed that technique, and I hope it's something you'll be able to incorporate into your crafting. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.